Good evening, all. It's 12 o'clock Monday evening. The date today is 13th of December 2021, and just been trying to rack up my mind, and I've made up some mind ahead of tapering going forward, and developing a view going forward in the short term is important. And I have made up my mind of, as I said, I want to go long on equities, which are sectoral leaders. And two of the stocks that I really like are HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. And we have already bought HDFC Bank at very good lows, around 1509 levels. I'll explain all these things for now. But I do also want to accumulate ICICI Bank, and with all the other things, I want to accumulate all good large cap stocks in the space and in different sectors, but basically sector leaders. But I do have my eyes on the bank Nifty for that fact of matter. Now, for the next couple of minutes, just a small video. I'm not talking about options. I'm talking about long-term equity. I want you all to keep that in mind. And I'm of the view that, when tapering happens in 2013, in 2021, Feb, March, when this taper scare comes in, yes, eventually everything does have some kind of a fall. We all witness some kind of a dip or some kind of a sideways correction. But banks are the ones that will recover the most, or the ones that gain the most eventually in the long term. My personal view on this is why, because the banks are the leaders in such a case, because they earn from interest rate differentials. All the other sectors will be impacted even after the tapering happens, but banks are the ones that, if you understand the logic, if the repo rate goes higher in the coming months in 2022, when the repo rate starts to go up, that's the time when even banks can offer you loans at high rates of interest. So the repo rate going up is not going to impact banks. They are actually profiting out of the same, because if they are charging you a 6% loan right now, because of repo rate going higher, if you remember my last inflation video, then now the banks can charge 9%, 10%. So they can easily increase their loan rates much more than the repo rate goes higher. So that is just one thing, one very small fundamental point. So again, I don't have a short term view of the market, right? We've already discussed all these points in the market outlook video for tomorrow. But my long term view is that I do want to accumulate banks, and I'll do it in tranches. I think we've all been aware of these things, that whenever you go for long term equity, you always buy in dips and buy in tranches. If you look at Bank Nifty, some kind of view that I'm trying to make, it's with a pinch of salt, and I want you all to observe. I don't want you to act on it right now, just observe. Because if I can try to crack this up, I was wondering whether I should get it on YouTube or not. But after a long time, I have somewhat made up my mind, and I feel that tomorrow the 37,520 levels, considering that these lows are important lows, then 37,520 levels tomorrow becomes a very important resistance. Because of SGS Nifty looking strong right now, it's possible that the Bank Nifty could open higher and stay elevated. So 37,520, whether it's tomorrow, doesn't come or not, that's fine. But in the next couple of days, this becomes a very important resistance. Because if the market comes here and it trades above that, it goes above this and trades for a good period of time above these levels, then I believe 38,600 levels you can see on the screen, those levels will open up. Then this level becomes a good support for the market. As I've said, that the supports are being shifting up and up and up. So currently 37,520 is a good resistance that I see on the charts. If the markets come over here and they start to show pressure, right, then the markets will try to come down a little bit maybe, and then maybe they come, maybe they don't come. Now listen to this very carefully. See, we have to identify what are good supports, and ahead of tapering, the announcement by the Fed, it is important that we understand that volatility will be there. I don't know how the tomorrow's market is there. Are we rallying 1,000 point higher or no? For example, let us say tomorrow for some reason we go 1,000 point. Then the next level of resistance will become at 38,626. So all these are fine. So again, try to understand. If you, some people will have a question, can I go short at these levels? If you want to go short, my rule is simple. If you find some kind of pressure over here or at this level, take 50 point maximum stop loss and go short. That's what I'm saying. But 50 पॉइंट ये नहीं है कि फिर बैठे रहे, देवांग ने बोला लेवल है, ऐसा नहीं है. 50 पॉइंट एसएल, इवन वी कैन गो रॉन्ग. दैट्स माय पॉइंट. सो मान लो यहाँ से अगर मार्केट एक प्रेशर फेस करता है, इट स्टार्ट्स टू फेस प्रेशर ओवर हियर फॉर सम रीजन टुमारो, then see, we are eventually, if you look at Bank Nifty charts right now, we have formed some for double bottom, and then the market, if they try to come down to retest, Our job is then to try to accumulate or find a support between this 100-point green range, which is 36,344 and 36,444. This becomes a very, very good support. So going forward, these are three levels that are marked on the chart that I feel are very important. 36,344 is 100-point range, 37,520 and 38,626. These are levels as per my knowledge of GAN, and they could always go wrong, and I'll have to again improve on them. I do not teach these things because I don't have ample experience. But what I'll be doing, long and going short is something that we'll see in the live market depending upon price action. But I'm having a view. But what I'm doing is if the market hits my 37,520 mark and starts to fall down, this is a zone that I'm interested in. I will like to buy some banks for my long-term investment at 36,444 levels, 344 levels. And I'm again particularly interested in HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. I want to see if this thing works tomorrow or in the couple of coming days, because if it works, then I'll give you, without any chart, I'll just give you levels so that you know immediately what to do. Just observe. HDFC Bank is also what, with the levels that we have bought at are very, very major lows. We bought around 1509, if you remember on my Telegram commentary, and 1504 is a massive support on GAN. 1552 massive resistance on GAN, considering these lows are very, very important lows and they don't break. So markets are expected to be in this range, and which way this they start to break, the movement will happen in that range. Otherwise, HDFC Bank will remain sideways between 1504 and 1553. अगर ये break करेगा तभी move आएगा till 1598. तभी move आएगा. Then only Bank Nifty can give you a further kind of a rally. So in a way, if rally comes tomorrow, maybe HDFC Bank is not someone who goes up a lot because it has very strong resistance about 2% or 1% higher. Observe karte hain. So the zone of accumulation in HDFC Bank is a very strong 1509, 1504, the one that we have bought at. So we have bought exactly at the bottom. So I'm happy about that. ICICI Bank is the one that I'm interested in. Observe, assuming these lows again don't break, then the very good resistance that I see on ICICI Bank is 773.6 and 796.25. अब मान लो कल मार्केट बढ़ता है around one, let's say in the morning markets open higher and they start to go higher, then 773.6, which is about 2% higher, 1.5% higher from the current market levels, 2% higher, that becomes a very good resistance on ICICI Bank. शॉर्ट करना है नहीं करना है देखो वो आपकी मर्जी है, बिकॉज इफ द मार्केट कम्स टू दोस लेवल देयर इज नो शॉर्ट ऑन प्राइस एक्शन. आपको ये बात को समझना पड़ेगा, देयर इज नो शॉर्ट ऑन प्राइस एक्शन एज ऑफ नाउ, because they are levels that price action doesn't tell us anything. But as per my GAN knowledge, 773 is a very strong resistance, and if markets trade above this level, then the market of 796 will open up. But as I said, I'm more interested in some volatility. I want eventually the volatility to come. I'm again saying I'm not giving any view on Bank Nifty कल put लेना है call लेना है. I'm giving you an advice कि मुझे कब equity long term ICICI Bank को लेना है. Considering how the markets will recover after tapering news, or after, let us say, 1-2 months when they start to recover, how which companies can be long term leaders, and I want to play those stocks. So 749 on ICICI Bank for now is a very, very good support. So I would like to buy over there some quantities. If the market hits 773, let us say tomorrow markets go strong, they hit 773, and then when they come down, then I would like to buy 749. But let it hit. ऐसा नहीं कि कल खुले नीचे वहां buy कर लो, पहले उसको वहां hit करने दो at 773, and then when it comes down, 749 becomes a very good support. If this also breaks, then I would say 725 is a very, very strong support, and that is a time I'm particularly interested in on the ICICI Bank chart. So I've given you some levels. I'm again repeating myself. You want to try to go short or go long on the intraday basis, have a stop loss. You know my rules: 20-point Nifty, 20-point Bank Nifty, accordingly with the stock options. But I am more of why I'm showing you this video is that if this roadmap works well for us, then we will try to accumulate our large long-term stocks around these levels. And my goal is not to give you intraday gains every single day, but my goal is also to give you some sort of, I would say, long-term wealth. That is also my goal. I've given you in the past a good amount of long-term wealth in the IT sector. I've given you a good long-term wealth in a lot of other April 20 lows purchases, and I'm trying to identify some good solace even now. So going forward, volatility will be strong in the next 3 days. You want to do intraday, that's totally up to you. Try to avoid if you can, and use any dips that come in the market to go long on large caps. In the next couple of days, I'll be active in finding some good leaders and I'll be giving you some levels on those charts. Try to buy at those levels. So we are considering that any chart I showed you, they have made important lows today on the lows that they have made, and now we are using these dips that come in on these green zones. They are resist supports, red is resistance. So we're using these dips that they come in whenever they come in. Our goal is simple: we don't chase the market. We let the market come to these levels whenever they want to come, whether 1 month after, 2 months after. I'm not concerned. But once the market comes to these levels and stabilizes, then we will try to buy at these levels. So that is all for now, and I will give you further updates going forward. Thank you. If you have any doubts, let me know in the comments.